To another edition of the Business and Learning live show. This show highlights actually tips and tricks entrepreneurs can use to grow and sustain their businesses. So for more information on this episode and to learn more about us, you can go over to businessandlearning.com. For those of you that don't know, I am Tammy Munson.
And I'm Elena Frederick.
So thank you so much for joining us live. We are streaming live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. So make sure to leave us any comments, questions for our special guest, whatever is necessary.
Yes. So today our special guest is Tracey Lee Wallace, and I have been working with her personally for a number of months. I do very much say that she helped save my marriage, and she helped save my mentality. So, and Tammy can say like how much it has changed me. So Tracey Lee is a self-love master coach, and she's the creator of the self-love movement. She is super wise and just an amazing teacher. And she is super genuine, she's loving, and she literally does not hold things back. She will kick you in the butt if you need kicked in the butt in order to get a point through to your head. And so she definitely helps to shift her clients from just a dark place into a place of self-power and self-love, and to getting into your true self, which is a great thing to have. So we really want to welcome Tracey Lee to the Business and Learning Show.
Thanks, you guys. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Tammy, for having me. And what an intro. I'm humbled and hope everybody isn't now scared of me. Like I try not to be terribly scary, but I don't hold back. It's true. What Elena says is true. And love is not all, fluffy pink hearts and whatnot. Love is honesty and truth, and brings forth everything unlike love to be healed. And sometimes that's not a very comfortable process. So.
Right. And sometimes you need that little kick in the pants, to get that forward motion going.
It's true. It's true. You need somebody who, and I love my clients like Elena, who allow me to hold the space for them, where I love them so much. I'm not afraid for them to be mad at me. I will tell you the truth. I'm not going to take their opinion of me personally to the extent that it's going to warp my ability to advise people in a way that is truly the most loving choice for them. I am constantly saying the loving choice for me is the loving choice for everyone, even if it's not popular. And sometimes what I say to my clients isn't terribly popular, but they don't come to me to keep status quo. And status quo is a very difficult thing to fight against. Our ego likes to dig in. So anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Well, we will get to all that in just a minute, because I'm excited to hear about all the things that you have to share with us today. But let's just take a step back from it. How did you get started as a life coach? What prompted you to take that on?
So when people ask me the question, how long have you been doing this? My standard answer is since about the 5th grade. We didn't call it life coaching and nobody paid me for it back then. But about the 5th grade is when I could really start to notice how or what other people were feeling, or that other people were upset, or what was going on with them. People will say, are you an empath? And I'll say, sure, yes, I think we're all empathic. I think we all have the ability to feel one another. Some of the volume is turned up louder in some of our heads than others, and some of us have learned how to quiet that noise in our head. It wasn't until probably 2007 when I was a recruiter in the oil and gas industry, and my then boyfriend said to me, when are you going to write a book? And I said, what would I write a book about? And he said, you have all this wisdom. And I said, none of it's really mine. It's just like stuff that I've collected along the way on my journey to help me. And he said, yes, but you are now this repository for it, and you have a responsibility to share it with the world. That was really my first nudge, Tammy, that, oh, did I inadvertently get a PhD in self-love that might be beneficial to other people? It really hadn't occurred to me until then. And it took from about 2007 until 2011, 13, really, for me to go, this is my purpose. This is what I'm meant to do in the world. And anything else I'm doing is, I'm out of alignment with my truth if I try and do anything else. So that's
Awesome.
about the best answer I can give you.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And I love when someone says, when are you writing a book?
Yeah, right? Which I still haven't finished writing, but I've been busy doing other things. It's all good.
Neither have I. It's all good. It's all good.
It'll happen.
Yeah, exactly. It will. It will. And it'll be perfectly perfect when it does happen. So it'll all just naturally flow, because that's how it works in Tracey Lee's world. It just flows.
It's true. It's true. And when I start to get down on myself for, wow, why haven't I written that book? And start to go into that familiar shame spiral that we can all get on ourselves about, I should have done this or I should have done that, which is should is a very, very shaming word. And shame is the lowest vibratory emotion. And I recommend it is to be explored, but not visited as often as possible. When I really look at that and I go, okay, well, let me have some curiosity about that instead of picking up the big stick and beating myself up about it. Let me look at that with curiosity and go, okay, that's a fair question. What have I been doing? Oh, graduating 3 sons from high school and getting them into college, and dealing with a mother with dementia, and moving from one city to another. And then both of my parents have passed in that period. Like, I've been a busy girl. And the truth is there's always something. Now it's COVID, right? Why didn't we do whatever we were going to do that month? Well, because COVID. The truth is it's always something. And what Elena is saying is true. When this book, or this Pearls of in my toolbox, as I call them often, when this is meant to be birthed into the world, it will be birthed into the world with ease. And there will be no, it has to be hard. It has to be, none of that will be in play. If I'm really working with the benevolent forces of the universe, my life does just flow in the most beautiful way.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that you have helped me with in getting to a different flow, which we've talked about this before, and you even have a workshop on it, because it's so, it's such a good little nugget. And I think it can help everyone. There's so much change right now going on. There's transition, there's the pivoting, and Tammy and I were saying earlier, every time we say that word, all we think of is Friends and the cow. Pivot. But with that, you have this amazing 8-step self-love antidote checklist. And can you tell us more about that? For me, it's really, really helped me to be able to stop the spin and stop the freak out, and be able to learn, why am I in this? What is it for me? How is this helping me?
Truly, I wrote a blog post, this blog post in early March, before this pandemic had really touched my life or our lives in the way that it has since. And I didn't really realize what I had written was going to really be a blueprint. I want to go back to something that Tammy said in the beginning of the intro, which was tips and tricks to help sustain your business, grow and sustain your business. Your business cannot grow and be sustained if the condition of self, you are the central part of your business. Absolutely. So what is my, there's a song, I just checked in to see what condition my condition is in. What condition your condition is in is going to be the condition of your business. And so if you're just focusing on the business and how is the business growing, and if it's not growing the way you think you would like for it to, how is that a reflection of something that's going on inside of you? Because really and truly, the outside world is always a reflection of the inside world. So I can't think of anything more valuable that you could do for your business than make sure that you are taking care of the captain of the ship, which is you. And it's so often the thing that we put last on the list of things to do, and that is back to front for sure. It needs to be top of the list. So how do we snap out of that? Well, we have what I call is an oh shit moment, which will happen at any point in time ever. It's like, oh shit, that bill is due and I don't have the money for it, or oh shit, I forgot that deadline. And right now what's happening on the planet that's so fascinating for me is we are all, for the first time ever in history, experiencing a collective oh shit moment that goes, oh, April is really not what I thought April was going to be. March wasn't what I thought March was going to be. And I'm watching people grasp for when is it going to feel normal again? And the truth is it's never going to feel normal again. And so now we all get the opportunity to navigate this life when things don't happen according to our plan, which that happens all the time, doesn't it? For
exactly.
Those who are entrepreneurs, who are mommies, your kid gets sick and you thought you were going to have a board meeting that day, and no, oh shit, like, right, I gotta figure out what to do. So the first step in these 8 steps, which I really wrote to help my clients get conscious. When we are unconscious, we are going to make decisions from a place of the freak out, and we do not want to do that. So the very first thing you need to do is notice that you're having an oh shit moment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can tell you there have been times in my life where my whole life was an oh shit moment. I was married to an alcoholic. I had 2 little boys. Everything felt homogenized, and the homogenized flavor was oh shit. So we really have to notice those moments, and everybody's body has a different kind of tell. Elena knows this one very well. When I'm really in a freak out, when I'm really feeling triggered, my mouth will get dry like the Sahara Desert. There's no missing that. Sometimes your heart will race, or your palms will get sweaty, or know how your body is signaling you that it thinks you are in danger. So you can do nothing without awareness. So the first step, which may sound silly, but it's crucial, is to notice what your body feels like, and to notice when you are having a spin moment, or a triggered moment, or a freak out moment, or an oh shit moment. And there's no shame in your game. This happens to us all the time. When things don't go according to plan, we are immediately faced with it. So it happens all the time. It's just part of life. Once you notice that you are having an oh shit moment, then you go to step 2, which is what, Elena?
You have got to stop.
You've got to stop. Don't do anything. One of the pearls in my toolbox is make no big decisions from a place of big emotion. Make no decisions from a place of big emotion until you can get to a place of consciousness. So right now, how many of us are having these moments where we're either trying to apply for loans, or we're getting approved for loans, or we don't have the loan, we don't know how we're going to pay for things. Like, when you make a decision from the place of constriction, you don't have all your faculties about you. Mm-hmm. And literally, when we are in a panic or in a fear response, the first thing that happens is we shallow breathe, and our brain is literally not oxygenated to maximum capacity. This is not the time where we want to be making decisions, or pulling triggers, or making choices. So notice, stop, and then step 3, which for me is probably one of the most crucial, always available steps, which is breathe. So now that I've noticed and I've stopped, which is hard to do, because let me break it down biologically. What's happening biologically is your amygdala brain is sending a message to your body that there is danger. And when there's danger, our body wants to do 3 things. It wants to fight, flight, or freeze. And we are now going to override that system and go, hold on, amygdala brain, I see you're trying to send me a message of danger. Let me check it out for you. Because 99% of the time, y'all, there's not really danger.
Right, exactly.
There's no bear about to eat your face off. Your car is not stuck on the railroad tracks and your doors are welded shut. There's not a person with a bloody axe at your door. 99.9% of the time, when our body is flooded with a danger response, there isn't actually danger. So how do we calm our body down? You breathe. And how do we breathe, Elena? We breathe 6 seconds in through your nose, and 12 seconds out through your mouth. You want to slow down your out breath. And this is not, I didn't invent this. This is out there in the world. It massages your vagus nerve, which runs the length of your body. It's the longest nerve we have in our body. And when the vagus nerve gets massaged by this kind of breathing, 6 seconds in through your nose, 12 seconds out through your mouth. And if you think you know what 6 seconds is, it goes real slow when you're freaking out. You're like, that's 12 seconds. You might not even be able to take in an inhale for 6 seconds and an exhale for 12. Get your stopwatch out. Do it. Do it at least 3 times, because you're going to send messages of calm to your brain, which is what you need in order to be able to go to step 4.
Yeah. And that step is really like, for me, to just taking that time to 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, counting in my head, it really helps to stop things. And like you said, you're not making a decision from that freak out, because that's the worst thing you can do for your business or for yourself, is to make a panic-driven decision of, well, am I going to take that loan? Nope. Okay, I'm going to shut everything down. I'm going to fire everyone. No, step back, take a moment and do that. So even if you have to sit and breathe for 15 minutes and just constantly going in and out, because as you're doing it, you're really starting to focus on your breathing. You can, if you got a health watch or something like that, you will actually see like your heart rate slow down, and everything it comes to this place where now you can do step 4, which I love this one. It's check and make sure, look around, and this one I like to have fun with it, because I'm in a place where I can have fun, where I say like to, is Jason at your door with a knife?
It sounds silly, and I really don't mean to minimize it, but it is important to recognize that what is happening in your body is a danger response, equivalent to being in physical danger, and you're not. I want you to check around and see where you are. Chances are you're home or at your office. You're all alone in your office. There's really no immediate danger. Like, it's really important, again, not to shame anybody or make them feel silly, but we have to have an attitude to match the facts. And in order to have an attitude to match the facts, you have to know what the facts are. And your body is actually lying to you and telling you there's danger when there's not.
Right. There, I had a therapist once that told me that think of fear as an acronym. False evidence appearing real. You're not in any real danger. It's your body is lying to you. Your brain is lying to you. Yeah. Your whatever is going on is lying to you. And if you just stop and like I said, take that breath or multiple breaths and just kind of center yourself a little bit and start making good decisions. One of the other things that somebody once told me was, don't make permanent decisions on temporary problems.
Yes, right. Especially if the temporary problem isn't really real anyway.
Right.
I used to have a mantra that I would tell myself all the time, is that fear will not fuel my decisions.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, here's the thing about step 4 that's really ironic. If you really are in danger, if there really is a bear fixing to eat your face off or a person with a bloody axe at the door, you're not going to do 1, 2, 3, and then get to 4. You're already going to be hightailing it out of there or respond. Like, do you follow me?
Right,
so
yeah.
we don't need to, and hear me when I say, people, if there really is a lion chasing you through the jungle, you don't have to do steps 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like, you just run. Go ahead and run if you're legit in danger. But 99% of the time, we're not. And here's the other thing I want you to know. The thing that ages us the most, the thing that is the hardest on our body, is unnecessary stress. Any stress, really. Mm-hmm. And if we really just sit for a minute and think about how many times in my life, I'm 53, how many times in my life have I really, truly, legit been in danger. And I will count the times I've been on an airplane where the turbulence was like, oh, or was like, oh, like I'll even count that, right?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I bet it's less than a dozen times in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But how many times have I felt that flood, that rush of adrenaline, that oh shit moment?
Right.
Thousands, countless times.
Thousands. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're spot on. Spot on.
So what could be more loving than alleviating ourselves of that kind of stress, of really having, and again, there are 8 simple steps, but man, when you're freaking out, there ain't nothing simple about any of it. Like
right.
I tell my clients on the regular, look, you just be mad at me. You just throw me right. You cuss me. You throw me right under the bus while you're breathing, right? Like just go right ahead, because we need something to do with that energy. And you'd be mad at me if you need to be mad. You'd be okay by the time you get to step 8. You'd be thanking me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about step 5?
So step 5, one of the, if you guys go to my website, and I know there's going to be all kinds of links there, and oh, it's over there. I can't reach it. I have a 28 days of self-love journal that's free for anybody who wants to just sign up and get the journal. One of the very first things I have all of my clients do is create a healthy self-soothing list. Why? Because guess how we self-soothe if we don't have a healthy list? We self-soothe in an unhealthy way. We get busy, we drink, we eat, we shop, we do all kinds of unhealthy things to soothe ourselves. Again, this is all about consciousness and choosing from a place of love. So what is some of the ways that I soothe myself when I am feeling completely freaked out in an oh shit moment? And now I realize, okay, so none of that is really true. The adrenaline and all this cocktail that's flooding through my body isn't honest and isn't true. But the truth is, I did have this chemical cocktail flooding through my body. And how can I soothe myself to bring myself back to stasis? So breathing is one of the great ways, but all of my clients have different ways, and any of my clients will tell you that my number one way is to go sit on my porch swing. And anybody who follows me on Instagram or Facebook has seen countless posts, especially during the time of COVID, of me on my swing under the trees, just swinging. It is one of the best ways, and for those of us who have children or remember being a child, there's nothing quite as soothing as being rocked, right? But we all have different ways. I know Elena likes to drink a hot cup of tea and to feel the mug in your hand, to feel the warmth, to taste, to do that nourishing. I wouldn't make it caffeinated. We all have ways on purpose that we can soothe ourselves. And it is this acknowledgement of, oh, there, body, you really did get a fright. Let me soothe you on purpose. So
Tammy, what would you add to your list?
Well, I mean, my go-to thing is to have a glass of wine and just chill, But, I mean, I think it's, exercising, walking, and journaling, and doing like a gratitude list, name 5 things I'm grateful for, just to kind of center myself in, okay, everything else is crazy, but I can bring myself back to center by focusing on these small little things that I'm grateful for. Obviously, I'm grateful for my family and all of that stuff, but I'm grateful for the sunshine in Iowa because it's not warm here. So, those are generally the little things that I kind of look forward to for this kind of self-soothing thing.
One of the things that I will suggest is that when you're doing this kind of self-soothing, that you use your senses. What am I seeing? What can I smell? Does the smell of lavender soothe me? What can I taste that feels soothing for me? What can I physically do what can I touch? Can I pet the cat or pet the dog? Can I ask somebody to hug me or hold me or rock me? Or can I swing? Anything using the 5 senses is really, really a great way to quickly soothe, because the trick is, when we're in stress, we're generally in the past or in the future. And when we are using our senses, we have to be present. We can't smell in the past or smell in the future. So even though smell evokes a memory, we're still smelling in the here and now. So it's a really great way to get yourself back into the here and now.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Tracy said, I do the hot cup of tea. But
Always.
those other things, yeah. Yeah, I always have, which I'm really surprised. I only have water right now. I normally always have tea. But even other things like taking a bath or sitting and coloring, or baking, or probably my favorite is just to go outside and like lately the kids and I going outside, we count how many snails are in our backyard because there's so many snails. It's ridiculous. But even just that exercise of just being out in nature and just kind of moving my mind from the noticing of the freak out, and now, okay, what can I look at? What can I see? What can I do right now just to get me back to, like Tracy said, in the here and now, be where my feet are, which I think is so important for just that stopping of making those fear-based decisions. Because if you're soothing yourself, if you're changing that environment, you know, someone's not going to get fired right then.
And I will
which is important.
If you are having trouble with the soothing step, if you get to the soothing step and you are still kicking and screaming and fighting, go back to the breathe step. It is really hard to be still and soothe myself in a loving way if I am still honestly in the freak out stage. I just get mad.
Right. And we have three more steps, 6, 7, and 8. Could we just talk about them super briefly, and then people can go over to the website to read more in depth, because they are a little bit more detailed, and I don't feel like we have time to actually go over them, but could we mention them quickly?
You bet. So throw step 6 up there, because we're on step 6, which is curiosity. Curiosity instead of shame is what I would say. And the curiosity step is the one that takes the longest. It's about being curious about what belief is really running the freak out, and really mining for gold. This is where you might need the help of a coach or the help of someone who is outside of your thoughts, as it says in the 4 agreements, outside of your parasitic thoughts, that is immune to your parasitic thoughts, that can help you get to the nugget. This is about mining for the treasure. This is where real lasting change begins, is in step 6. So we will move over it quickly, but it is the one that might actually take the most time. And I mean time, like a day or more.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then 7?
7 is about rewriting your discovery. So in curiosity, I've discovered the belief that no longer serves me. And in step 7, I rewrite it to be a more loving belief. So I got triggered last week by a word, and the word was burden. And I have an old belief running from childhood that I'm a burden. And that belief no longer serves me, and hasn't for a really long time. And the truth is, a more loving belief is, I believe that I'm not at all a burden. I believe that I am beneficial to the people in my life, and I'm valuable, and I'm worthy of being helped and having help in my life as well.
And my favorite.
So step 8 is practice. One of the pearls in my toolbox is, the way we get good at anything is the way we get good at everything. Practice, practice, practice. And truly, this is the one no one likes. Why? Because there's no magic bullet, people. There's no magic pill. We have practiced our current beliefs for so long. We have to practice the new belief in order to solidify it. How do we practice it? I want you to brag. I want you to go, oh my gosh, I was in this freak out last week, and here was the belief that was running the freak out, and here's the new belief, and it's so much better. I want you to tell people the good news. Tell people your discovery, and tell people what your success is and how well you're doing. We love to talk about our failures and our screw ups. Let's talk about the things that we're getting right at least twice as much.
Yep. And you have a workshop coming up. You can find out more information at traceylee.love /8 steps. And that is at the end of this month, correct?
That is at the end of this month. You can sign up now. And I'm doing something I've never done before, which is my quarterly workshops generally cost $225. And because we're in the time of COVID, I'm really doing a pay what it's worth for you right now, which means you could get into the workshop for $100. You could be like, wow, this is the most valuable thing I have signed up for in a long time. And you could pay me more than the $225. I really want to make this stuff accessible to as many people as possible. Mm-hmm. And this workshop is like a microcosm of what we do in the Self-Love Masterclass. And it's a really great way for you to get a sense of and a taste of what it's like to be in the classroom with me.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm definitely gonna go sign up right when we're done. So it seems that so many people right now, I mean, the world over, are in need of just some self-love. How are you able to kind of grow your business?
Well, that's interesting. So I'm a very spiritual person and a very spiritual teacher. And I really believe that I'm not really the CEO of my business, that the CEO of my business is whatever the benevolent forces of the universe are that are running the show, whether you want to call that God or Buddha, or I don't care what you call it, right? And so honestly, what I do is I show up as authentically me every day in every way. There's truly no difference between Tracey Lee, the mother, and Tracey Lee, the coach, and Tracey Lee, the girlfriend.
Right.
They're really, I have gotten to a place where I am congruent in the who I am throughout wherever I go. And I really believe that my clients come to me by divine appointment. So I do show up and let myself be seen and visible as often as possible. Like this, Elena asked me to do this, and my answer is an easy yes, absolutely, because I don't know who in your audience is watching that may be really moved by the medicine that I am and have. And some of it is very practical and logical, but Elena can tell you there is a certain amount of it that is just hard to define or describe. And generally the people who respond to me in a certain way, just there's something that just goes, oh my God, I don't even know what it is, but sign me up. And again, there are lots of teachers teaching what I teach on the planet, and I don't need to be everybody's flavor. I'm okay with that. But I do try to let myself have as much exposure as possible, whenever possible.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So what we like to do on all of our shows is to kind of do a little rapid fire, if you will.
Okay.
So Elena and I are going to be doing that. I'll go ahead and start. What is your favorite podcast?
Right now, I'm really loving Brene Brown's new Unlocking Us. Like, I love her. She's a fellow Houstonian. We have mutual friends, and I just love her style. I love her style.
She's phenomenal.
Awesome. All right. So what are you reading right now?
I'm rereading right now A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. There we go. And I'm literally reading it in my classroom and reading it to my clients. So that is what I'm reading right now again.
Okay. So here's one that maybe you've gotten before, maybe you haven't. What is the best advice you have ever received from someone else?
That I am the only authority in my life, and that I need to listen to myself above any outside authority. I'm the only one who knows.
Right. Perfect.
All right. Your favorite meal or drink from a local restaurant?
Oh gosh.
If you could go to one.
Yeah. So that's pretty easy. Miles and I, my boyfriend Milestone, and I love to go to a place in downtown Austin called Red Ash Italian Grill, which is decadent and phenomenal and all things wonderful. And they have, God, it's very hard when we go there. We're like, we'll get a lot of little things, but Italian food for sure. And there's the pasta bolognese that I would have to say is probably my favorite. And there's a chocolate dessert that is seriously the best thing I've ever put in my mouth.
Okay.
Okay, I'm hungry now.
I know.
And is that
I will have
Austin?
It's in Austin. It's in
Okay.
downtown Austin. Yeah. And they are doing curbside pickup, as I understand, and now I want it. So there we go.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
know,
there you
I'm like, might have to have a date night in the car.
There's going to be a trip for me sometime soon to
Do
Austin.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
When we can travel again, for sure.
Yes. Well, Tracey, thank you so much for joining us today. How can members of our audience get in touch with you or connect with you?
For sure, there are several ways. traceylee.love is my website. It's Tracey with an EY, so TRACEYLEE.love. And I know that Elena and Tammy are going to post all of this. You can follow me on Instagram. I am the Tracey Lee on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook. I'm pretty out there. I'm on Twitter as True Light Tracey. I would say Instagram and Facebook are the best places other than my website. And do go to my website and get your copy of the 28 Days of Self-Love Journal. You will get emails from me helping you through the process. And honestly, if anybody listening would like some time with me, I'm available to do a discovery call. All of my first calls with my clients are on me, and anybody who's feeling moved to do that can just find me at the contact form on my website.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We are so grateful that you joined us and shared all of your insights and possibly saved a few people from getting fired when their boss has a freak out session.
Well, it's a privilege and an honor, and thank you for inviting me. And a la Stephen Covey, all I do is learn it, do it, teach it, learn it, do it, teach it, learn it, do it, teach it, over and over and over. And one of my clients says, don't you get tired of repeating yourself? And I always say, I'm just glad I don't teach algebra. I'm glad that I teach love, so I don't have any problem repeating that over and over and over.
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody who's watching and listening later. Thank you so much for joining this special edition of Business and Learning Live. We'd like to thank our special guest, Tracey Lee Wallace, for her insight and time today. So make sure to join us this Wednesday at 7 p.m. for our next edition featuring Dr. Medea Saeed, the holistic doctor mom. I'm very excited to chat with her about all the stuff that she's got going on.
Yes, and make sure to visit our website, businessandlearning.com, and you can sign up for a mailing list. You can subscribe to the podcast and much more. So if you have any questions, you can also submit them on our website as well. And we will be uploading this episode as a podcast as well. So if you want to just listen to the audio, you can do that as well over at businessandlearning.com.
All right. Thank you guys. And we'll see you on Wednesday night. Have a good rest of your day.